And we are back. What's going on, faithful? It's your boy Mike from the Nothing But Niners crew. I want to thank you guys for taking your time to watch us today. If this is your first time here checking us out on YouTube, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We're going to be bringing you guys a lot of fun videos all season long. Now, before we get to the meat and potatoes of what we're doing here, again, my name is Mike, and I'm from www.nothingbutniners.com. We want you guys to check out that website, okay? There you're going to see a bunch of great articles by a bunch of great writers. You're going to see our social media pages. We have Twitter. We have Snapchat. Both of those are Nothing But Nine, ERS. We have Instagram. We have Facebook. Both of those are Nothing But Niners, spelled all the way out. And you're going to see also our podcast. We have iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Google Play, SoundCloud, all those good things. Guys, make sure you stop by. We have a great cast here of good 49er fans that want to bring you guys some good information. All right. So with no further ado, Nick and I are going to break down this 53-man roster. Nick, what's going on, baby? How you doing over there?
Doing good, baby. I'm doing good. Excited to talk about some of these things that we were right and what we were incorrect about on this 53-man roster. There's a couple few things that that interest me, and some of the things that I was surprised about and some things that I wasn't surprised about. So
yeah, so I mean, let's go ahead and get to it. I mean, I think there's a lot of stuff that happened during today's cut downs that didn't really surprise me. So I think we should start with the surprises. There was a couple. I'll go first. And my biggest surprise, I think, was that Cole Hikatini wasn't retained by the 49ers. This is someone that we had on the show. We did a player interview with. He seemed like a great kid. He had a good head on his shoulders, but he had his opportunity to make some big plays. A couple of touchdown passes went through his hands during the preseason here. He wasn't known for his blocking ability anyway. A pass-catching tight end can't not catch passes. And so if you're dropping passes, it's not going to work out good for you. So I was surprised to see Cole Hikatini gone, but the guy they kept in his place was Wes Saxton, right? Was it Wes Saxton?
no, it was It
wasn't
Cole
Dwelly.
Wick.
Oh, Wick. It was Cole Wick. I'm sorry. It was the other Cole. Cole Wick was the guy they kept in his place. So I got to do some more research on this guy and see if he's going to be someone that I got to keep my eye on, or if he's just here for depth. So that's my first surprise. Nick, the floor is yours, man.
You stole my first surprise.
I gave you the opportunity to go first.
Yeah, so definitely one of the surprises. So I'll go with one that's not a surprise to me, since you did a surprise. And I know this is a surprise to you because Aaron Burbridge. I didn't think we were going to keep him around just because of his ability to play special teams and how good he was, and that's exactly what Kyle Shanahan came out and said today. Came out and said, you know, we like Burbridge. It was one of the toughest decisions, but I just didn't see reasoning to keep him just because of the way he plays special teams, because somebody asked that question as him being a special team ace. So that was one that I wasn't surprised about.
Okay, so you brought that up just to try to tell me I was wrong. That's what that was? Like, it's just, you were wrong? Like, I'm not surprised about it. You were wrong, and that's it. One of the other reasons that Kyle Shanahan said that Burbridge wasn't kept was that he wasn't able to participate for the last 2 weeks. He had a hamstring injury. So he said that he just didn't get a chance to put out enough film for them to sit there and comfortably keep him just off of a special teams ability. But during preseason, leading up to that point, the first 2 weeks and all throughout camp, he was doing a damn good job as far as his wide receivers responsibilities. So that was good. Now, on the flip side of not keeping someone who wasn't able to perform, Gary Gilliam is still on the roster. So when Kyle Shanahan said the whole thing about, he couldn't perform, and so that's why we had to let Burbridge go. But then Gary Gilliam is still here, and he is eligible for the IR list. We will see. He sustained a concussion in the first preseason game, and he hasn't been back since. Why, Nick, do you think Gary Gilliam is still here?
Probably versatility, and he was probably better than what we let go, such as Jonathan Cooper, Shelton, Pace. He was probably just higher on the depth chart than them, and versatility. So probably just did a better job. I mean, Cooper was obviously one that didn't really get a chance to prove himself. But I think you're wrong on the Burbridge talk. that was actually talk about Atachu. That wasn't talk on Burbridge. That was John Lynch came out and said injuries hurt Atachu, and we didn't really get to see a good look on him, and that's why we had to cut him.
You're wrong, bro. Atachu was the only one who sacked Andrew Luck. It was Burbridge. But all right, I'm not going to argue with that. That's fine. I was wrong. If you want to say I was wrong, I was wrong.
Oh my goodness.
We also have Atachu is my surprise cut. I couldn't believe that they were willing to let him go. I mean, I'm not comfortable with Marsh just being the only pass rusher guy that we have. But it is what it is, you know. So let's go down this list. And if I say a name of someone, stop me and let me know if it surprises you, all right? So we already said Atachu and Burbridge. There was Jonathan Cooper. A lot of fans seem to be surprised about that. They knew that the Dallas guard that was coming in was going to come in here and save the day, and he was going to make us a top 5 offensive line wherever he was lining up, and he's gone. Dunbar, supposedly our tallest wide receiver. Now he was an undrafted guy, but a lot of people really had some hope for him. He didn't make the cut. There was Dwelly, Exum, Cole Hicatini, we already discussed, the fullback Johnson, offensive lineman Lauderdale, Andrew Lauderdale. This was someone that I was kind of hoping to see get a shot, but it didn't work out. Dexter McCoyle, Tavares McFadden, an undrafted free agent with a lot of hype behind his name. This guy wasn't able to make it either. So it was something that, you know, you got to keep your eye on. You want to chime in on that or no? No?
Nope.
All right.
I'm good.
McFadden, McNichols, running back McNichols was gone. Cornerback.
That to me was a surprise. I think he played better than Mostert running the ball in preseason. Mostert is still having, had some issues with fumbles, but the special teams, man, I think stood out there. I think Mostert got that special team look and lock. But it did surprise me that that McNichols was cut over Mostert.
Yeah, I mean, they might try to do something else with him, maybe bring him back around. I'm not sure what the rules are for practice squad, but I know he was on our 53-man roster for a couple of games last year, so we'll see. There was the cornerback Mosley. You guys know how I felt about Mosley. I love the young man, and hopefully he can land somewhere else. Quarterback Nick Mullins. The head coach, did you listen to the interview? Kyle Shanahan sounded extremely confident that he was going to be able to bring Mullins right back to the practice squad. Like, he said it like it's a matter of fact. He'll be our practice squad quarterback. We just couldn't keep him. I would love to have kept 53. I would have loved to kept 3 quarterbacks, but we couldn't do it. So Mullins got cut. Tyvis Powell, he was the guy that I did not like. Last year, we talked about that game where in Houston where Dante Johnson got the pick 6, and then you saw Powell and you saw Maben get some playing time. And I kept an eye on both of those guys. Maben improved a lot this offseason, and I was happy to see that he was the guy that was kept over Tyvis Powell. So not that I'm ever happy to see anybody cut, but I was happy that Maben or the team confirmed my thoughts on Maben. There was Scott Shelton. How about this name for you, Nick? Peter Tamupinu. Were you surprised that the 49ers let him go already? Yes or no, and why?
Yeah, I mean, I just, this kind of goes back to my conversation on Ronald Blair. I just think that injuries just hurt him. I think injuries hurt him. All of last year he was injured. He finally got, I think he got brought back like week 10, 11 last year. And not being able to showcase what he can do. I think he was also bulking up for a new position, kind of. But the thing that I like about it the most is that, just because, we draft these players or we draft them high, the same thing with Joe Williams is the thing I like is Kyle Shanahan's not fooling around. Whether he drafted him or not, he's saying, okay, you're not working out. I got better talent here. I'm going with the better talent. I'm not picking you because your draft selection was in round 4 or round 5 or wherever it was. If somebody's better than you on the field, I'm trying. He's definitely a team coach. I'm making this team better. Doesn't matter where you were taken in the draft. You have to prove yourself. And if you can't, you're not going to be here.
And because I'm stubborn, I'm going to be petty right now. I'm going to play the audio of Kyle Shanahan discussing Aaron Burbridge so we can find out who was right or wrong. We're going to wrap this thing up. We're almost done the list. I do have one more surprise cut and someone I'm hoping to see the team bring back. But before I do, let me go ahead and get this off. Now, I'm just going to hit play just to see why they really cut Aaron Burbridge. So here we go.
Your top special teams guys are viewed in that fashion. What was the decision for him? Do you feel like you guys have enough other special teams guys to kind of pick up the slack?
Yeah, we do. That was one of our toughest decisions there. We have a very deep group at wide receiver, and it was tough to decide on the 6 that we kept. We could have kept 10 of them and would have been happy with all of them. So Burbridge was a tough one, and for him to make it just on special teams alone. That you definitely can do that on our roster, but we got a lot of good special teams players, and we got a lot of guys who can help. Not many guys have made it just alone because a lot of our special teams players are also good, whether they start or whether they're backs up so that they can contribute. And then really what made it the hardest for Burbridge, he pulled his hamstring, so he hasn't been able to compete here these last 2 weeks, which is nothing against him.
I have exorcised the demons.
So basically, we were both correct there.
If that's how you feel, then yes, we were both correct. Yeah, he definitely mentioned the whole it's not enough to do it on special teams. But again, it was he didn't get a chance to prove himself as a wide receiver also in the last 2 weeks. So I'll give you a tie there. I'll give you a tie. All right, so let me get back to this list of guys that were cut though. And like I said, I got one more. So we stopped at Talmupinu. Corey Toomer, I wasn't really surprised about. I always thought that he was a camp body. Najee Tehran, wasn't surprised about. I kind of had some hope for him to be stashed, and that's still possible. But the last guy here is Wilson, the running back, especially with this news coming out today about Jerick McKinnon. Jerick McKinnon. I really like the way Wilson was carrying the rock, man. I'm hoping that the Niners bring him back. Nick, your thoughts on Wilson? Do you think he's someone that the team should look into bringing back? And if not, tell us why. If so, then obviously tell us why as well.
I think that we should bring him back for a practice squad. I don't think we should bring him back to the 53 because I think we need to use that roster spot to go after some type of pass rusher. I think that's more of an importance right now. I think the workload can be carried with Breida, Morris, and Mostert in the backfield. Now, obviously, if we get another injury in the backfield, we got to make different changes there. But I don't think we should exercise and go out and get another back and panic, make it a panic look. I think we'd be fine with Morris and Breida and Mostert. But I also think that we need to get somebody pass rush wise. I don't think that we can just stand still, I guess you could say, with a Cassius Marsh and an Eric Armstead, because one is a developmental player that has been, not a starter his entire career, and the other one is a guy who's always injured. So both of those guys is really iffy and ups for me. I'm hoping that Eric Armstead can stay completely healthy for 16 games this year, or more. But I think pass rush is something that we need to go after with that roster spot.
And the truth of the matter is the team agrees with you. Also on that conference call, John Lynch confirmed that we were players in this attempts to acquire Khalil Mack from the Raiders. It just did not work out the way the team wanted it to. He said that the Raiders had an asking price. They had their feet planted in a certain amount to give up and nothing more than that, and they had to hold firm to their beliefs. So that's basically where we are. The team is definitely looking to get better at any and every position. It was great to hear that we were players in the Khalil Mack thing. You have any thoughts on that?
Hey, man, it just goes back to what John Lynch always says and Kyle Shanahan. When there's an opportunity to make a team better, you explore all options. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. If they as coaches and GMs and owners think that it can better our team, they put a feel in. They put their hand in the cup of tea and see what it's going to cost them. But they're smart. They don't go throwing all this stuff out because they understand that we're still building right now. We're building through the draft. We're using free agency as little plug-in plays, and which is smart. I'm glad that they didn't spend that kind of money. I mean, the numbers just came out. So we're like 47 million over cap right now, and that's going into next year without drops and stuff like that. So we'll be a little over 70 million next year. We're still in good position. You go and trade for Mack, you're losing 2 first rounds, you know, and some other things plus the big contract. So overall, it's not a team-friendly thing to do. Is it a stubborn thing to do? Yeah. Like, I would feel that it's stubborn because you got other players here. Then you're going to do this. And then, yes, is he great? Obviously. But I think that we're building for the long run, not just now. We're not one player away from winning a Super Bowl. If we were one player away from winning a Super Bowl, hell yeah, you go all, you know, balls in and get it done.
Nick just said balls in live on the air. Wow. All right. All right, a couple of players that I do want to touch on really quick. Just some guys that I'm proud of for making the roster. Kendrick Bourne and Richie James are both guys that I'm very happy made the roster. I was surprised that the Niners only kept 6. I was predicting all along that they would keep 7 wide receivers, but they did only keep 6. I was surprised at the 4 running backs, McKinnon, Breida, Morris, and Mostert. But now we know that we're going to have 52 men just because of the McKinnon injury. He's going to be placed on IR, season-ending IR. So we have another roster spot opening up there. Let me think if there was anyone else that I was surprised about making the roster.
Mike, technically, we still have 7 receivers because Bolden's still on the 53. He's just on the suspended list.
Oh, yeah. But he doesn't count as a roster spot. Same way that so he's not technically on the 53. He's still his rights are still by the Niners, but he's not on the 53-man roster.
Yeah.
Same for our linebacker Reuben Foster.
Yeah.
So offensive lineman, I was happy to see that the team decided to keep Eric Magnuson. He is someone that they might also be placing on IR, designated to return. That was something else that the 49ers head coach talked about. I was happy to see my man Joshua Garnett still be retained by the team. I had a feel I still want him to be the starter. They might not start him, but I was happy to see him there. All right. Were there any players that you were happy to see made the team? Maybe someone that you were pulling for that wasn't a main name?
DJ Reed. I like Moore. Those 2 guys I was really pulling for. Exum was a person that I really wasn't too hot on. I was surprised that he made the cut, but
no, he didn't.
Not Exum.
Greg Maben?
No, not Maben. The other guy.
Marcel Harris?
No, it wasn't Marcel Harris. I'll think of it.
Jimmy Ward. You definitely didn't think Jimmy Ward.
I mean, obviously I don't want Jimmy Ward here, but financially they're going to keep him.
Yeah.
No.
While you think about it, I'll keep going here. There's just a couple more names I want to touch on really quick. Mark Nazaucha, I was happy that he made it, and Elijah Lee. I was happy to see both of those guys make it.
That's it. Lee.
Huh?
That's who it was, Lee.
Oh, Elijah Lee?
Yeah.
And then I have finally Ronald Blair. I am so glad that my man made it. People were doubting my boy. That versatility you can't find just anywhere. Appalachian State, stand up. So, all right. Let me relax. I know you got to get going, man. I want to thank you for taking your time out. Tell Pop I said happy birthday. You guys have a good time over there. Is there anything else that you want to touch on before we get out of here?
No, man, that's it. Definitely. I'm happy that Blair made this roster too. I didn't think that he was going to, because of the way that he didn't get the opportunity in preseason, but he really showed out in preseason 4. So that when they say that you have an opportunity to make a team in week 4, I don't think they're lying, because he played great, and I think that's really what pushed him over the top to keep his roster spot. So
he showed his motor in that game. He was relentless in his pursuit. Plays weren't his direction. You could see him chasing things down from the backside. And by the way, because I have to show some love here to the position group, punters are people too. Damn it, my man Bradley Pinion. Round of applause for my man, still making the roster. That's my boy. I told y'all he wasn't going nowhere, baby. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. Faithful, we want to thank you guys for joining us. We can't stick with the chat. I know you guys have a lot to say. We will get back to you guys soon. I promise. All right, so prepare for glory, anticipate pain, but always remain faithful. We out.